The 2TIM2 workshop is tackling a quiet crisis in our communities by intentionally bridging the gap between spiritual maturity and the raw energy of teenage years through the grit and sawdust of a construction site. It's a new partnership between Sun Brother Soldier and Fully Alive Ministries, and it's built on a very specific biblical blueprint. Julian, when you look at the landscape of modern youth ministry, we often see a lot of screens and high-energy events, but this initiative feels like it's reaching for something much more ancestral, almost visceral.
It really is reaching back to a foundational way of learning that we've largely lost. The workshop is named after 2 Timothy 2:2, where the Apostle Paul tells Timothy to take the things he's heard and entrust them to faithful men who will be able to teach others. It's a 4-generation model of spiritual reproduction. But what makes this workshop different is that it doesn't happen in a lecture hall. It happens while building backyard storage sheds. They're bringing together Paul's, spiritually mature men, and Timothy's, boys in grades 8 through 12, to work shoulder to shoulder.
I love that image of the Paul and the Timothy literally holding opposite ends of a 2x4. You mentioned this spiritual reproduction, but there's a very practical side to this. We're talking about a beta project where a small group of men and boys spend 2 Saturdays together. They aren't just talking about faith, they're measuring, cutting, and hammering. Is there something specific about manual labor that opens up a teenage boy's heart in a way a standard conversation might not?
There's a psychological and spiritual alchemy that happens when your hands are busy. For many young men, eye-to-eye contact can feel like an interrogation, but shoulder-to-shoulder work feels like a brotherhood. Research from organizations like Mentor shows that for youth, solving problems together is one of the most meaningful forms of support. When you're trying to figure out why a roof rafter isn't sitting flush, you're building trust. You're modeling how a man handles frustration, how he asks for help, and how he perseveres when a project gets difficult.
It's that side-by-side dynamic. You aren't just teaching them how to use a miter saw, you're letting them see the Father's heart through your actions. The project description mentions that many faithful men actually want to invest in the next generation, but they're paralyzed because they don't know how to start. They don't feel like they're theologians. This workshop seems to tell them, if you can build a shed, you can be a mentor.
Exactly. It removes that barrier of entry. You don't need a master's degree in divinity to show a boy how to drive a nail straight or how to respect his tools. And as they work, those deeper spiritual formation conversations happen naturally. It's not a forced quiet time at the end of the day, though prayer and teaching are part of it. It's the steady hum of conversation over the sound of a drill. It addresses a massive need. The U.S. Census Bureau notes that roughly 1 in 4 children live without a father in the home. That creates a hunger for what this program calls authentic mentor and relationships beyond family.
And the impact of that absence is staggering. We've seen data from the Department of Justice suggesting that a huge percentage of youth in the legal system come from fatherless homes. This workshop isn't just a weekend project. It's a preventative strike. It's giving these boys a vision of what godly manhood looks like: faith, humility, and service. I'm particularly struck by the detail about the engraved wooden plaques. Every shed gets one with the names of the Pauls and Timothys who built it.
That's such a powerful touch. It's a permanent reminder of the investment. When that shed is delivered to a family and dedicated to God in prayer, those boys see that their work has a tangible kingdom purpose. They aren't just practicing construction, they're serving a real family. It's about moving from being a consumer to being a contributor. The goal is to cultivate a generation of men who know Christ deeply and work faithfully. It's taking that deposit Paul talked about and making it concrete.
It's shifting the focus from what can I get to what can I build for others. The beta phase is starting small, 4 to 5 men, 4 to 5 boys, 2 Saturdays. It's a manageable, high-impact start. If this scales, it could change the entire culture of how we do discipleship in our churches. It's moving away from the talking head model of ministry and toward the apprenticeship model that Jesus himself used as a carpenter.
It's the 18-inch journey between the head and the heart. Fully Alive Ministries often talks about that distance. You can know all the facts about God in your head, but until you experience His presence while you're in the thick of it, whether that's at a retreat or on a construction site, it might not take root. This workshop ensures the heart and the hands are engaged simultaneously. It's about being fully alive in every sense of the word.
It's about seeing the sacred in the ordinary. I can't wait to see how these first few sheds turn out, not just the physical structures, but the lives that are being framed alongside them. It's a vision of brotherhood that our world desperately needs. If you know a young man who needs this, or a man who's ready to lead, this is the call to action. Share this episode with someone who believes in building the next generation, one shed at a time.